Welcome to You, Me and IT, the podcast taking us behind the title of some of the leading individuals in the IT channel. I'm Karlton Gray, UK and Ireland Channel Director at Schneider Electric, and in each episode I'll be speaking to some of the leading people in one of the UK's most prominent industries. For this episode, I'm pleased to welcome a great person who 5 years ago built a business from the ground up with no outside financial backing. In that time, the company has grown and moved to bigger premises to accommodate that growth. Steve Hyde-Smith, Managing Director at Integrated Tech. Hello and welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I want to talk about you, which I know is sometimes challenging, but I want to understand a bit more about you and understand what the drivers are. And first and foremost, want to understand where you're from and some of the background to you. So,
well, for when I grew up, I grew up in quite rural, so on the Northamptonshire, Bedfordshire border. Nothing to do, a lot of hanging around. I was actually one house in to Bedfordshire, sorry. So I had to go to school in Bedfordshire, but I lived in Northamptonshire, so I kind of grew up with two sets of friends, which is kind of cool. Double the amount of friends. Normally, you only have your kind of school friends, right? So, but when you're miles away from anything really, so it's a lot of doing nothing. When we're hanging around with your mates, trying, causing mischief.
My mum did the same. She sent me to school 12 miles away, so I couldn't.
Had to run it and all.
But I couldn't get back to get in trouble. So she said, "Look, I'm going to send you." Took me out of my first school, sent me to another school, just because she was like, "I want you to get an education." And by the time I think in her head, in a great way, she was like, "By the time you get home,
you'll be knackered."
You'll be knackered. So it used to take me about 2 hours to get home.
Yeah, not bad.
But yeah, go on.
Yeah, so that was it really. Pretty nothing to write home about. We normal education. I enjoyed school. I did. You're never going to get a time again when you're going to be with your mates every day. And when you look back now, I know some people didn't enjoy their school, but I had a well of a time. Well, I really did enjoy it. I mean, I was done with the learning part of it. My mum was a school teacher as well, so I went into sixth form because out of ideas, no idea what to do. Kind of just tagging on to what your mates do, what you do, and I'll just do the same. So even though I did do business actually as it goes, but I couldn't even tell you what I got. Couldn't even tell you. So as soon as sixth form ends, that's it. I was done. I didn't go to university. I knew that because could have been trouble for me. I think I would have done it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
You've got to get something out of that, haven't you? If you're going to commit to it and you're going to dump a load of money into it, you better get something out of it. And there was always a risk where that wasn't going to happen, I thought. So for me, straight into work. So my first job I was a door-to-door vacuum salesman. And it was brutal. Do you have the Kirby boys? The Kirby vacuums? Brutal industry. You spend all day knocking on doors.
Yeah?
Yeah, for giving out raffle tickets to win a Mini. I just remember it, 18 years old or whatever, just knocking on doors and nobody wants you there, do they? Do you know what I mean? It's you kind of, that thing,
hard sell, isn't it?
Oh my God, it was, it's pressure. And do you remember like back in the day when everyone had the kind of, the metal bit on their shoes? Do you remember that across the front here? Like, I had some Pierre Cardin touch of class shoes, and I remember it being so cold, knocking doors all day, get back into the car, turn the heating on and just snap the bar in half. You know what I mean? So yeah, and that was it, so we did that, and then you're dumped into somebody's house 6 o'clock at night, selling that £1,200 vacuum, and then you get picked up again in 2 hours, dumped back in somebody else's house at 8 o'clock at night.
Keep going.
That was it. You did that 6 days a week. But yeah, so it was. I stuck it out for a year. Commission only. There was no. But as a sales training ground, you aren't getting better than that. I can tell you that much. Being stuck in someone's house at 10 o'clock at night. You've got to be pretty good to shift a £1,200 vacuum, So that was it. That was my kind of start into sales. So my journey from then, trust me, doing anything after that, you're going to snap their hands off. So, and obviously local to me was Misco, was the Systemax.
Okay.
And that's when I kind of joined the industry, as did pretty much everybody in in our area.
Yeah.
And that was it. It was great. Really enjoyed it. That was it.
Quick question, and I've never known this. So did you start did Misco, were they in
No, before that, not the big building.
So there was a smaller building?
There was a smaller building, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's it. So we had a little warehouse on the side. So yeah, I mean, I can't think how many were there. Maybe 50 or.
Okay.
And it was good to get into that early on. It was, I think nowadays it's a lot harder, isn't it, to build a base, you know. But those days, I think once you get into this game and you do reasonably well,
yeah,
you kind of never leave it, right? You either keep doing what you're doing or you move across to Vendor World or Disty or whatever, you know. So yeah. But yeah, well, I was there when the move to the big building as well. So.
And how long was you there for?
13 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was good, you know. It was good. There were some of the great days, you know. There were, you know, orders on fax machines and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
I remember that.
That's when I met you. That was it.
I remember that. At the end of the day, someone go, "Oh no, we've not processed the fax orders."
Somebody get the fax out.
The papers run out.
Yeah.
And then all you put it in.
Old
and
school.
Hundreds of orders come through. You're like, "Oh,
damn." Yeah, blame it on the delivery man.
Yeah.
They've got an agency driver. Oh, sorry about that.
So you was at Misco, one of the, I would say, the old school people.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the very, very first, really, you know, the very, very first. Some of them are still kicking around, but you don't see many of them about now.
No.
But a lot from my kind of school, I think there's a lot of us still still kicking around now. Yeah, I still see them now.
So you was at Misco for a long time, and then.
Yeah, moved on. A few changes there. That kind of growth of a business where all of a sudden things change, certain procedures change, and I maybe wasn't quite on board with what they were asking me to do. And I made a decision that, you know, there was a friend of mine who was obviously at Misco as well. We went and set up a new company, and that was it. It was kind of, look, come over here, come and join a smaller company. So I probably would have stayed. If it wasn't, if we weren't completely kind of almost having to start again anyway.
Yeah.
And like had handcuffs on almost, like you got to be geographical, you got to be, you know, NHS education. You know, I didn't really want to do that. I had a nice split of accounts.
Yeah.
I didn't want to give anything up. Still don't now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, back in the day, like somebody phoned you from a different office and they're like, "Are you doing anything with that account?" You're like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Right, who's that then? And have a look at it and find out. I ain't giving it away though. What do you know? And I think that's the same with kind of a lot of people. You know, we're all very protective of our accounts, especially if you're a sales guy. You know, this is it, because that's your bread and butter, isn't it? And if someone starts tampering around with that, or then all of a sudden you're going to have a slight problem with that. So moving on as well. I mean, we were just shifting Tim, weren't we? And that's cool. I enjoyed that. You know, literally, you know, with a catalogue and a part number. What do you want, mate? 11589 Cat 5 Blue.
Yeah.
How many, mate?
But
you know what I mean?
But it was important, though.
It was important, and it was good, and this is how we built it all up. But you know, at those times, didn't even care what, you know, someone would order 50 laptops, didn't even care what they were using them for, never even asked. Do you know what I mean? Now all of a sudden you're thinking, kind of, hang on a minute, what can we?
This consultative
Let's
part.
have a look. Yeah, what are you using them for? What are we doing it for? So that's when I moved into Total, from Misco into Total. Again, I think a lot of us kind of from our generation kind of ended up tripping over there as well. So, and again, good times, enjoyed it, really did. You know, I was there for a good 5 odd years. Yeah, they're a little bit more, you kind of getting more into a bit of a solution sell as well.
I think it's that value add, isn't it? It's when I think we all started, and it was a case of, I remember it, you've at distribution, you've got a 50k order. And I'm bouncing around going, I've got a 50k order, but I forget that there's all these other things that I could have attached to it. But I was so happy that
that's right.
I just had that initial order, but I didn't
even ask.
And I think the world has changed so much.
Yeah, and as well, remember, you know, because especially like in IT, it's like to say I do IT is like saying I do sport. You know, I may be good at football and rugby, but I need you to do hockey this time. There's no way you can kind of. It changes, it moves. So for us to kind of learn everything it's an impossibility, isn't it? You know, this is why we kind of lean on the people who know what they're going on about. That's the kind of deal, right? You know,
I think if you ask my family years ago when I worked at Midwich, everyone in my family thought I sold TVs.
Yes, absolutely.
And they was not being horrible, but people
that's
working.
That's what I say now. And I say to them, "Can you fix something?" No, I can't fix.
Yeah, how can you fix? My mum will ring me and say, "Can you?"
How'd you get the DVD on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just a constant battle.
Yeah,
just
it was.
To say,
Don't do that. Yeah,
I can't.
But then sometimes in the end it can't be bothered to explain. So I just sell computers.
Yeah, I sell computers. Sorry, mum. Can't help you.
That's it. But don't ask me to fix it. Yeah.
So there was a move from Total, right? So let's fast forward now to where you're now. So just a little bit about, I think it's important to go through that.
So if you kind of continue, when someone says you cross the line?
Yeah.
It's a metaphorical line, and nobody kind of knows where it is. But if you look for it long enough, you will find it. And I found that line, and that was it. It was kind of a, all of my own doing. I'll hold my hands up there. And it was a to have been in there for so long with all your mates as well.
Yeah.
That was the thing as well, because you kind of, what can I do? It's on my head, be it. Boom.
Let's talk about the new business.
Yeah, but again, coming from, when you start day one, because you've got to remember, I've done this for 20 years, and sometimes you don't think, I'm not going around saying I'm an expert in things to do with IT and stuff like that, but I'm an expert in being an account manager and managing processes and what you have to do. So that first day when you kind of start that business, and I remember opening the laptop and like, where's the button? Where's the button? I've always had a button. Press the button and your system comes up. This is it. You've got to build the button.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that is what it is. It's that ground up, and you've got to move relatively quickly. I think anybody in this game realises if you're out of it for a prolonged period of time, it's tough.
Yeah.
Tough to get it back in again, because, these people have gone off, they've found different account managers. And so it's that speed of, look, you've got to get it up and running. You know what you've got to do. You've got to be able to provide a quote to your customer, right? Once they've accepted that sales order, that's going to create POs to suppliers. When you're just sat in that one seat, just pumping those, you only see that sales order kind of screen. That's the one you care about. Obviously, we know the processes, but it was someone else's department. But when you've got to build that kind of flow, it's hard work. And also, I've come from using a £500,000 a year CRM system, and mine's like £18 a month, and I'm trying to get these dudes to code it like the £500,000 one.
Yeah.
Paying 18 quid is like, won't happen, mate. Do you know what I mean? So there are certain things you had to give. As long as you can get that quote across, can we get it invoiced? There's loads of different things. Setting up the bank accounts and doing this, and there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. You know what I mean? When you sometimes you needed 2 email addresses to set up an account. Well, there's only one of me. Do you know what I mean? And stuff like this. It's you don't think it. I just remember having that kind of company reg, the VAT number just stuck in front of me on the wall, because it's just paperwork, form after form after form after form, setting up accounts, doing this. It's tough.
Yeah. From the outside looking in, everyone knows you. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people. You've got a name within the IT channel where Steve is great for a laugh.
Yeah.
Like Steve, great guy. But then you've had to switch it to be Steve the boss, Steve the manager, Steve the... I need to make sure that people are doing what they need to be doing. And the evolution of your business and your company, I know, but there's huge growth there.
Yeah, there is.
But how did that, and you sit in the shadows a lot of the time and go back to that, I don't want people to say nice things about me.
Yeah, yeah.
But the way for someone to step back and actually go, I need to reinvent a lot of who I am.
Yeah.
But still keeping me at the core of my business. So how's that?
I think they're I'm well aware that I don't know everything that I'm doing, and that's when you're starting up a business. I'll tell you what it's like. It's like if you used to go to house parties when you were like 16, 17, 18, it's a lot more fun going to someone else's than having it at your own house. And you're like, oh, don't do that, mate. Don't do that, mate. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's a lot more fun when it's someone else's, But you're right. And then so the amount of times I look back and go, sorry about that one. But, the first thing is like, I think there is a place to still have this kind of, we want to bring that fun to the office, how working from home and stuff like that. We get it, totally get it. People have needs and what, but I'm not. I like being in the office.
Yeah,
I like it. I like it. I think it's good fun. I understand that other people need different things, and that's cool. You can have that. So, also, I'm still, I'm aware I was an employee, 20 odd years, and now I'm an employer. It doesn't change overnight, so you tend to lean towards what you do. So we'll kind of, when you start, there's no point trying to do it. It's like juggling. You wouldn't just start with 20 balls. You just start with one, throw and catch that.
Yeah.
Once you can throw and catch that, add another one to it. Then all of a sudden, then because then you've got your system, fine, banked, all that back end paperwork. Then you've got to make money.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. You can have all the plans in the world, but your first day plan is let's make some money, because everything else goes out the window. If you can't make money, you can't do anything. There's no point.
What's the point? Yeah.
What's the point? And you won't be able to. So that first thing is head down, isn't it? So, and finding the right people. We've tried it before. Tried getting guys completely green, and we think to ourselves, someone's got to train them. Well, have I trained people? Yeah, we've done bits and bobs in the past, sitting next to each other, but we've done it for other people's companies, so it didn't really matter. They've got the backing of them. When it's kind of like you're putting the money in yourself, and then we sit next to them, and what's the point in me listening to somebody phone 50 people who say just emailing at info at? Do you know what I mean? What am I getting? Because I'm still on the front line. I'm still doing this. I'm still doing the same job as that guy.
Yeah.
Whilst doing it now, whether at some point, obviously, you need to step back, don't you? You need to step back and do the businessy side of things. But obviously, got good, Marcus around me, Carly around me. They're good people. They know what they're doing there. They know what they're doing. So that burden is shared. But again, we didn't go to secret business school when no one was looking. Do you know what I mean? And people think that, why don't you do? Well, I'll tell you what you want to, and everyone tells you what you want to do. I can tell you that. Tell you what you want to do. I tell you what. Why don't you do it then?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of that goes on. You
should be like this. You should do that.
Tell you what, that's right.
That'll be good for you. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like we deal with our problems. Our problems aren't the same as your problems. Do you know what I mean? That's the way I see it as well. It's kind of irrelevant talking about these plans. They're not our plans. We've got different plans. We've got different problems to solve.
Yeah.
Let's solve these first, and then just 5 years in now, but then again, it never stops anyway. That there's something else to do. But for the first time, really, we're like, okay, we're kind of up now. We're up and running. We know what we're doing. Credit lines are in. You know what I mean? We're getting noticed a lot now, and that's a kind of good thing as well. I think it's very easy to go and work for a big company.
Yeah,
you kind of
everything has its own challenges. Working for a big company, I remember, not to say Midwich aren't a big company, but when I left Midwich and went from Midwich to Schneider, I felt like I was a big fish. I wasn't. Midwich are a huge business, a great company.
They are.
But I left almost like I'm going to walk in.
Yeah.
And I walked into Schneider and I was
Realised
like,
how big that was.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
This is a different level.
Yeah.
And quite quickly I found that I lost all of that confidence, that bravado, walking around like I was the big guy. And that was just a shock to my system that I needed. Like a gut
maybe,
check
keeps
again.
you honest, right?
Yeah, do you need
keeps you grounded.
Yeah, swallow your pride and
get on with it.
Yeah. And I went back to that, and I think it was a humbling experience. But there was an account I went into. I won't say who it is, but I was walking around with a bag of sweets, like we always do.
Got anything going on in the minute? Yeah. God, that's the gig I wanted.
Yeah, but walking around with it, and I remember vividly an account manager turned around, put their hands in the bucket effectively, took out 2 big handfuls of sweets and bits, threw them in his drawer, flipped the drawer closed, and flipped the chair around, and just went,
"Cheers, dude." Yeah.
And I just thought, and that sticks.
Like me, was it?
But it sticks with me because I just think, you didn't need to be that.
No,
it's disrespectful.
Yeah,
you don't need to.
No, you don't. And in this game, I think as well, because it's, like I said, if you're reasonably good at it, you're going to see these people again and again and again. And that's not just from reseller into vendor land as well. This is if you're winning promotion trips and you're getting people coming, you're in the next thing you're off to New York with these guys again. You better have been nice to him when he used to work for them. Do you know what I mean? So,
and that's part of the you get to see the same people.
Yeah.
Especially like I miss not being out in the field as much.
Yeah.
But similar to you, I've got people to manage, and I've got meetings around strategy, and I've got this podcast. There's so many different other things, and balancing family, work, and everything else all muddled up into one has its challenges. But again, the IT channel has enabled me to do some of the most cool stuff.
Yeah, it's outrageous at times, isn't it? It was good. Last days of Rome, it used to be back in the day.
Yeah, but I've been to. I talk about it like it's normal.
Yeah.
And what this channel has given me, it's given me a group of friends as well, that people that I trust. It's given me that
a living. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Great living. But I didn't start on a lot of money, but I think I've worked my way up to where I am. So it's a case of
it is. It's unbelievable when you talk to people who who aren't in the game or do something different, it seems unbelievable to them, doesn't it?
Yeah,
You know.
I almost feel like we should celebrate it more because it's not normal.
No.
But once someone said to me that my job ultimately is sales, but would you want your child to be a salesperson? I don't think it has a nice taste to it.
No, yeah.
However,
people say it as a door-to-door vacuum salesman, don't they?
but you see what I mean? Like,
no, it does. No, you get, but sales and account management, even though account management is sales, account manager sounds a lot better, doesn't it?
Yes, but that's what I mean. So a lot of people get hung up on the title.
Yeah.
And
toothpick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I suppose we were friends, not so much in the Misco days, but towards Total, we became friends, I would say. And then I think we solidified our friendship at the Paris Marathon.
We did. Yeah.
I think that's one of and a lot of people that have been here, we've done something together that I forget about. And I'm like, actually.
I'll tell you what it was as well for me, that going on them scooters as well. First time I've been on them like scooters around town, you know what I mean? It was cool, wasn't it?
It was.
Couldn't believe somebody allows you to just drive around on the streets. Like,
through Paris.
It was great. You know, day before the marathon, broken ankle waiting to happen, wasn't it? But
we got on a train. Do you remember getting on the train?
He didn't stop at our stop, did it?
We thought we were Metro. We were like, we'll just jump on the Metro.
Yeah.
And the train just drove straight past where we wanted to. Our station now.
Yeah.
But I think stuff like we ran the marathon, you smashed it, I smashed my knees to pieces.
But look, you only have to do it once, didn't you?
You've done it how many times now?
I've done Paris twice, London 3 times, not even got close to winning it.
No.
It's my start. It is. It's my start. It's got to be. But no, it's. I mean, I don't even know if I like running. I don't even know if I do it for fun or I do it because I think, again, like you said, when you're doing in this industry and you're out a lot, there's a lot of lunches, isn't it? And I know you're responsible for what you put down your throat, right? But inevitably, a few beers here, a few beers there, you know what I mean? It's hard work, you know, it's tiring as well, isn't it? So for me, when that marathon, either it's London or Paris, it's always in April. It's always in April. So that training path always starts in January, right? So, or before, whatever. But by that time, by December, you've had that year out, you've had that Christmas thing, you've been eating a load, you've been, all of a sudden it's like, right, I need, you know, your body keeps count, you know, so at some point you better be changing something. So I know that at the minute, you know, I do still like to get out and on it, but at some point, so that I like to do that kind of, because January, nothing's going on, everyone's doing dry Jan, right?
Yeah.
Then February, you're still okay. Then there's March when it comes into it, then it's starting to get a bit lighter, people are getting a bit money going, you know what I mean? And then, you know, I kind of always feel I let myself down a little bit because I always kind of the training. And then you're up to like 13, 14, 15, 16 miles then, you know what I mean? And if you miss one of them at the weekend because you've been out, you feel, you know, all you're doing is punishing yourself.
It's that guilt, isn't it? Yeah.
You know, you think I should have done that. Why did I go out last night? Why didn't I do that? You know what I mean? You're like, oh, it's hard work. But something like a marathon, you can't fluke it. You've got to do it right. You've got to train for it.
I would say that it's one of the most humbling experiences. Before we did the marathon together, the Paris Marathon, Schneider Electric Paris Marathon, I had only ran maybe 5 kilometres a few times, and I once went out and did 9k and thought it was
got it. No problems, mate.
Got it in the bag.
What's the finish line, mate? That way, is it?
Yeah. And I literally, I thought it would be a doddle, and I turned up, and I remember I ran.
Why?
I ran.
Did you think it would be a doddle?
I know. Ran the marathon. I started off really well.
Positive, yeah.
I had all the gear.
I
had my knee strapped. I thought that was going to be the... And I remember running and getting to 20 kilometres and I lost my head.
Yeah.
And I just completely folded and then ended up running the rest of the marathon outwardly swearing at myself for why didn't I train for this. So I think to anyone who's going to do it, anyone who thinks
I tip my hat to everybody. I mean, that last one we did, I remember, because I think, look, last time, I know my knee's going to go, it's gone all the time, so I've packed myself some painkillers, got all my gels, got all this, and I've got a bit of a strategy, and I'll get to 13 miles and I'll eat a gel, 15 miles, I'd eaten it all by 12. all 8 painkillers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All over the place. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
It takes you off the beaten trail.
Yeah, but it's good, isn't it? To do something anyway, to do that. And look, there's nothing wrong with being healthy, is there? Do you know what I mean? That's what you're going to get out of it.
But I think the whole, like you said, the process, and we talk about that mental health piece and like how it's beneficial, like for you to have a goal, a direction. I think for me anyway, I have a lot of challenges sometimes, but actually having a point like a birthday or a pod, but
I like to follow a plan. That's what I like about the marathon as well. I like it. Look, and it's really, really strange because I say it every time I finish a marathon. Well, I'll keep this up. I don't need to. If I can run 26 miles, then running 5 miles will be easy. And as soon as I finish a marathon, don't do it.
Yeah.
Because there's no point. I don't need to. So
you need a goal, an end goal. I think for you and I, we're not the same, but I think a lot of what we want has to be. There's got to be an end goal.
There is. And
by having an end goal, enables you to focus on that.
And also, you're committed to it. You can't get out of it as well. Once you get to a certain thing, and don't get me wrong. When I say I don't like running, there are times when and especially now with a podcast, with audiobooks, with things, and you're getting out there, far too long spending on phones, far too long content everywhere. It's just nonsense in it. I'm watching a bulldog on a skateboard. Why? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why? And this is it. Just sat next to each other on a city watching nonsense. You know what I mean? So to get out there and maybe have that bit of a digital detox, if whatever you want to call it, something like that, feels better, doesn't it? Than just because I can sit down and do nothing for an hour, no problems. We all could.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? You're not really. When people say, I ain't got time for it. I've got time to sit around on my phone and do that.
Nothing.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think so. Sometimes I think with the communication that people have now, a lot of it is via Instagram or text or whatever. I think sometimes we don't take a rest and pause and go, actually, let's ring that person that I didn't get to speak to.
There is that.
Let's have a phone call.
And there is.
And then when you bump into someone in the street or whatever, they go, definitely we'll catch up. We've got to meet up.
Yeah.
And how many times does that happen?
No, never. But also, it's not even that. We're going back to hieroglyphics. We're just sending emojis now. You don't even need to talk anymore. Do you know what I mean? Sad face, whatever. Do you know what I mean? That is literally going back.
I think, it makes you sad, especially when you do stuff like on your birthday, you travel all the way to Milton Keynes, and you meet up with people and they make you take them for breakfast and they don't even say happy birthday to you.
Wow.
But it's your business, but there you go. We'll meet up again. We'll do something nice.
Yeah.
What are you proud of now?
The business I'm proud of. I think so. I think I like that it got going. I like the odds against me. And getting it to where it was, because it was no mean feat. If it was easy, everyone would do it, all that, yeah. But to get something up and running and because running marathons good and stuff like that. But what what else is there to do? I mean, you know what I mean. To do something like that, to kind of use your experience as well. Use what I've got, to make integrated tech. It's good. We kind of, even though we've got heaps of experience that you never, you don't even know you've got until you kind of push down to it and you have to do it. You realise that you're untapping all of this knowledge that you've got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of people just on autopilot. So to set up a company, and to trade and to do millions of pounds, and the numbers in our industry is frightening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is frightening.
But yeah.
And also, to kind of, I remember someone saying to me once, "You just see numbers on the screen. That is all it is, right?" We drop ship everything, so you never see it, you never touch it. It's just numbers, right, coming all over the place. So to kind of get something out of it at the end of it, and because it's not real until you kind of do a holiday, or this is it. This is what I can do, or it was worth it. It was all worth it in the end.
What's the definition of success for you then?
Sit on mower.
Yeah,
that would do.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that would be cool though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
For me, like we said, saying it's hard when you've worked in this industry for so long, for so many big people, kind of what our achievements get dwarfed because we've seen it been done by so many people. So for me, just to kind of, to me personally, kind of be financially independent, something like that, when you can do what you want when you want. That would be cool. For the business, to keep growing, get people going and showing, if we can get back these good times that we talk about back in the day, and maybe get some young guys in there who can kind of join this industry and have as much fun as we did. That would be cool.
There's on the series The Office, Andy says, "I wish I knew I was in the good old days when I was in the good old days."
Yeah, that's it.
And
that's
I
it.
think we always look back,
instead
of realising that we have good old days in front of us as well.
I guess so. Yeah, there is that. Yeah. So just so kind of, we're at a really good spot in the company where we're up and running. Numbers are growing. Vendors are recognising us. There's plenty of money flowing around and doing some really good projects and stuff like that. So I mean, maybe that growth isn't. Sometimes it's not the do all and end all, is it? Right? Sometimes it's better to. I hear people saying we wish we wouldn't have got too big. I
think sometimes it's nice to have that touch and feel, and I suppose
know everybody in the business.
I'm not saying it's bad to work in a big organisation, but there are positives and negatives.
Yeah,
in
there
both.
are. Absolutely, there are.
You see, sometimes it might be a hindrance, and sometimes it's a positive. So
absolutely, I think there's a big safety of a big company, but I think if there's a lot more. There's a lot more fun to be had. I think that's a nice saying. If you've never worked for a small company, kind of, because I've always worked for a small company that have got big, and you know what I mean. We always talk about the good old days, and they're always the first ones, right?
Yeah.
So so look, that's it for us. We're happy with what we're doing. It's been good.
I suppose I always look at it like this, but and this will bother you, but what's the 3 words that you would describe yourself as, and a little bit about why?
Loud, I guess people always
say.
But people always say it, but I don't think that's. I don't know. My cousin's an opera singer, right? So I think that's true as well. So I think my laugh comes out loud. Yeah. I think people always say you can hear me before you can see me. Determined as well. I think determined. Like that. Like when I had to start this, it wasn't a case. It was just a case of this has to get done. And it will get done, and I like that now. This is what we got to get done, get it done, and I like that attitude. I think that's let's not put it off for tomorrow. It needs to be done now, and this is important. Let's get that done. So whatever it needs to get done, I think having that kind of attitude to let's get things sorted. That you need people like that in the business. You need people like I'll take that, I'll get that sorted from start to finish. It's very easy to start something and kind of when it gets a bit boring, just fade away. And you know what I mean. So. Yeah, determined would be another. Quiff. There's 3. I told you that bloke called me Quiff Richards.
Yeah.
Quiff Richards. Burn.
Yeah.
But look, confident maybe. This is, I think you've got to back yourself, haven't you? At certain points, Would
you say you're a confident person? Or
Yeah, I mean, I'm confident in my abilities as well. When I do something, I do it to win. I hate losing. I do it to win. And even when I play squash or something like that, it will bother me if I've lost. It will bother me.
Oh, same.
It will bother me, and I'll be, my missus will be like, "What are you chuntering for? Thinking about losing squash 3 days ago." It was definitely up. You know what I mean? So yeah, there you go.
Lastly, what's your legacy, personally and professionally?
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because it's kind of like. There's one part of me that thinks that we haven't done anything. There's nothing. The legacy is a big word, and you know what I mean. When really it's like, hey, look, we're an IT company, and we've it's a tough one to answer.
I disagree.
Go on
with that, because legacy is about what you want to change. When that day comes, when people talk about you in the third person,
right, okay. I'd like to always leave behind that. I made people feel good. I always had a good time.
Yeah,
I like that, you know what I mean, and he always, and I like to do that. I think when we meet people, again, from I do a lot with Midwich, and I do a lot in that AV world, and every time we see him, it's just great. It's great seeing all these guys from Philips and whatnot, and every time we see each other, it's just good fun, and it's really nice. And I think having that kind of, this is a guy we want. Let's get him in. I like that because, there's more to be said than, let's just invite the big guys all the time. What about the guys who, you know what I mean, who are gonna
people that are kind?
Yeah.
I think you sometimes sell yourself short. Again, in the sense that I think you're so personable. You
Yeah.
look and spot the person across the sales floor and think, oh, I need a hand, and you might do it in your own way of what you did to me.
Yeah.
Is maybe abuse me from far, but it's almost
Yeah.
it makes me
No,
feel
it's
like
joining people in, and that's right, you know, and have, you know, getting the best out of people and having fun with people as well, and because everybody wants to have a good time, don't they? I'm sure of it. You know what I mean? You know, and getting everybody involved, and maybe they're not, you know, everybody's a bit nervous to begin with of stuff. So
yeah,
you know, getting people in and bringing out that, you know, that fun in them, and
tapping in. It's tapping into their. So what's next for?
So for integrated tech, look, we're looking to get onto some frameworks now. We're going to get down that government kind of path. You know, we've grown to that size now where we want to compete in that. Just getting some bodies in, getting some more sales guys in. That's where we're at. You know, we're happy with what we're doing. We're steadily growing. We're not got any problems to fix now. You know what I mean? We're like, what should we do? You know, so we've just got our ISO accreditation, looking to get on some frameworks now. So that's it for us, and keep growing. Add some bodies, making sure everyone's comfortable. Nobody wants to be, you know, we don't want to be throwing money around for the sake of it. Do you know what I mean? And you know, everybody pulling their weight, and that's really it for us. Maybe a new office if we get a couple more. You know, we are growing pretty quick, and we like where we are. Well, you know, we're on a farm.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's nice, really nice.
We like that, but if we outgrow that, brilliant. You know, but we're in no rush. We are in no rush. You know, I'd love to see some of the old guys that we used to work with come on board. You know, that would be cool. Get the band back together. You know, and you know, because these guys have got heaps of experience, and whether they're I think it'd be good that they can pass that on, and whether they can move up and in the companies they're with, I don't know, but you know, we've still got those spots available, so that would be cool.
They're promoting the business, but
yeah, get out over it. Yeah, let's get the band back.
What would you say to your younger self?
Oh, don't worry. Do more traveling.
Yeah,
get out there, man. Do more traveling. It's cool.
It's experiences.
It absolutely is. Don't worry too much. I know, like I said, I wanted to do well at school. Wanted to do well in you know, we worried, isn't it? Worry's bad, isn't it? You know what I mean? And find a passion as well. I'd like to. In hindsight, I would have liked to have done something within sport. You know, if you find a passion and try and find something that you could do. You're not going to be a Premiership footballer, we know that. But if you could maybe do something around that. Yeah, look, don't worry. You know, worry's the worst. So try and be good.
I think what you said is what would you say to your younger self? I think find a passion, but find a passion in anything you do. And that sounds really weird, but it's almost like if you're passionate about people, be passionate. If you're passionate, change.
Like my skill set was just talking to people, isn't it? And making people like you and getting on with people, like you said. And that is the golden rule of sales, isn't it? Nobody's going to buy off you if they don't like you. So to try and find that common ground and to try and find something nice. And if you can do that naturally, then, I guess I found my way into sales, but that's it. It uses my skill sets.
And you smile and laugh every day. And that's part of it.
That's pretty good.
But thanks for coming today, Steve. It's been a pleasure.
That's been a pleasure. It's been good.
I've known you for a long, long time.
We have. This is all we can do.
But this is what I mean. But I've known you for so long, but I didn't know. There's loads of things that. And there's been struggles. There's been ups, downs. But it's led you to where you are now, and I think.
And I'm pleased with it. I wouldn't change it. Like you said, I wouldn't change it.
It's the first time you said I'm pleased with it.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you coming.
Lovely. Good man.